Good Monday evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for Unscripted here on Up North Live. Today is International Environmental Education Day. Might be a good day to keep your eyes peeled for any litter outside. Maybe consider some recycling when it comes to the cardboard, plastics, or those other items that can be recycled in your community. Joe, I have to say I took a bunch of items yesterday to recycling in Grand Traverse County. The roads seemed pretty decent. Maybe today could be another possibility as far as the weather goes. At least I know some areas did see a little bit of sun today.
Yeah, a little bit earlier, a little lake effect snow in spots as well. The one thing I noticed today in the Traverse City area, at least, is the roads are packed down. We just have been so cold. We haven't been able to really melt some of the snow. So it's packed down almost into ice on the roads. So we'll see. It's going to stay cold this week. Here's a look tonight around northern Michigan. And, pretty dark there at Houghton Lake. But you can see not too bad currently. It's pretty quiet. It is cold. There are the numbers right now. Single digits in teens, 12 at Frankfort. It's 5 at Gaylord. Wind chills are below 0. And we have another system approaching. The lake effect snow is pretty much ended, but you can see a little snow here to our west. That gets in here after midnight. We'll look at that. And how much more snow is on the way. And we'll look at the rest of the week. All that coming up a little later.
All right, thanks, Joe. Those who serve in the military make sacrifices for our country. A lot of those are unavoidable. But two Michigan lawmakers say some of those services aren't necessary when it comes to the National Guard and reservists. They've introduced legislation that could have an impact on Northern Michigan fire and police departments and the women and men who work there.
This is one of those issues that I can't believe wasn't already a thing.
But when Representative Ron Robinson and Matt Kolazar learned it wasn't already a thing, they wrote these. Because when it comes to our first responders who happen to also serve in the reserves or National Guard,
they shouldn't have to be dipping into vacation time to serve our country.
Here's why they might have to. Meet Stuart Tolsma, first-year firefighter paramedic here in Traverse City, but his service to his community and our country goes back much farther.
I enlisted out of high school. It was 2019.
For 6 years, he has proudly served in the Michigan National Guard.
I'm a second lieutenant. That's 01.
Which means when he isn't wearing this uniform, he's wearing this one.
2 days a month and then 2 weeks in the summer usually.
Roughly 26 days a year where he takes the pay cut from firefighter to soldier.
It's just time off. With the city right now, I can take as much time as I need to for the military. And it's no questions asked. Like, I get that time. I just have to provide my orders. But I do not get compensated by them.
Which means roughly a month and a half of work per year. He either burns up his firefighter vacation time or takes, in his words, a significant pay cut down to military scale.
I definitely have to shift some money around, make sure I look at when my drill dates are going to be, when my paychecks are coming in, and just make sure I've got enough in the bank.
It's a challenge that Stuart and hundreds of other firefighters and police officers here in Michigan face and choose to handle out of service. But addressing that challenge takes us back to Lansing. And back to these.
How this bill came about is, quite frankly, it was one of those things that I think that has kind of slipped underneath the radar for far too long.
What this proposed legislation would do is grant first responders like Stuart 26 days of paid leave per year from their employer to meet their military training requirements. That way, they aren't taking a pay cut and not using their vacation time to do their job for Uncle Sam.
What they're being asked to do is to forego their pay at the municipality and to take essentially a pay cut to serve our country.
By law, employers have to grant the military training time off, but don't have to pay their employees while they're gone.
So that's what these two bills do to rectify that.
And supporters say in the process, make it financially a little easier for those who serve to continue to do so. Because, after all,
I think a lot of people have a lot of problems that could be solved by a little bit more money. Absolutely.
That was Up North Live's Mark Shillette reporting. Now, the two bills were introduced back in the fall. They're making their way through committee right now. Changes could be made before making their way to the House floor for consideration. And that brings us to our question of the day here on Unscripted this evening. We want to know, should National Guard and reservists have to use vacation for their military training? Go to our Facebook page, Up North Live, and our website, UpNorthLive.com. Leave your voting responses and those comments. You can also click the QR code on your screen. And we, as always, will check those responses coming up a little bit later in the show. Munson Healthcare has a new surgery center in Otsego County, and an open house was held this afternoon. The new state-of-the-art facility in Gaylord expands expands access to surgical care across northern Michigan. The surgery center will officially open, that is, to patients late next month. Munson says it'll provide a low-cost care option for patients. Kristen Brandsma with Munson Healthcare Gaylord Surgery Center is here tonight to talk about the expanding healthcare services across the region. Kristen, thank you for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's go through everything. Open house was today in terms of getting a tour of the surgery center. What types of procedures will we see here?
Yeah, we are a multi-specialty surgery center. So that means we can see all different types of patients and do all different types of cases. Things from a total joint, like a knee replacement or a hip replacement. We can do colonoscopies. We can do eye surgery, such as cataracts. So a lot of varied options to serve our community.
Would you say that a lot of these surgeries or procedures are outpatient, or would these be the type of facilities or procedures, I should say, where patients would have to stay a couple of days for recovery?
Yeah, great question. These are outpatient surgeries, and that is specifically what we will specialize in. Patients coming in and going home same day.
And the official opening is late next month, we know.
Yes, end of February, beginning of March. We are so thankful to be here and can't wait to see patients.
And Kristen, what do you think this means for patients, especially people who live in the Gaylord area?
Yeah, absolutely. This is part of Munson Healthcare's access to care strategy and rural healthcare. So we're opening up more doors, more avenues for surgeons to come to our community and practice and keep care close to home for our community.
So it's obviously, like you said, keeping care close to home. There's less travel time. How would someone go about utilizing the services? Would they need to get a referral from a primary care physician, or how would they plan ahead for something like this?
Right. So it will depend on the specialty. Many patients go directly to a surgeon. For instance, in cataracts, if they know they have a problem with their eyes, they go to one of our wonderful ophthalmologists who will be practicing here, and they would get an opportunity to have care here at the center.
And can I ask you, where exactly in Gaylord is the facility located?
Right across the street from the hospital. So we're very easy to get to.
And what do you think this means for the future of healthcare, especially for people who live in rural areas in northern Michigan?
Well, it's so important for patients to have access to care when they need it. What this does is it allows us to take care of patients that are going home same day, and the hospital to take care of more complex patients. So it's really good, easier care, and a lower cost avenue.
And for people who would like more information, maybe this is something that's in their community, or it's closer than going to, say, Munson Medical Center in Traverse City. Where could they go to get more information on the new facility?
Yeah, absolutely. We will be able to get that information posted on the website, and that will be a handy place for patients to go. And there'll be more to come about the launch of our new website.
And Kristen, anything else you'd want people to know regarding the new facility? Obviously, the tour happened today, and everything is officially opening late February, later this month, I should say.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It is absolutely beautiful. Bringing people through the center today, we had numerous compliments about the space and about how high tech we are right here in a surgery center, and that patients can come in and go home same day. So a lot of enthusiasm. Yeah, I think it's just great. More access to care and a stronger presence of healthcare in our community.
Kristen, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Exciting news, especially for healthcare here in northern Michigan. We appreciate you coming on Unscripted tonight. And sticking with health news, this week, you can save up to 3 lives by taking the time to donate a pint of blood. On January 28th, this Wednesday, UpNorthLive will be hosting the Versity Blood Bus at our Leelanau County studios. You can sign up to donate from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we do have a link to sign up to donate on our website. Simply check out UpNorthLive.com. Making news around the state tonight, 1 year ago, tragedy struck a West Michigan family after sustained bullying at a Berrien County school. A young girl took her life. Now, a new piece of legislation aims to offer students options, all to get out of a bad situation. Up North Live's Remington Hernandez has that story.
No parent should have to bury their child, but one mother is using her grief and lending her daughter's name to help other children in her shoes. Her mother says Natalia Moore was bright, loving, and compassionate, bringing so much joy to everyone that knew her. She loved her family and friends, but also hockey, described as a talented athlete playing for teams like the Wyandotte Warriors. Then, 1 year ago, the 12-year-old from Middleville was gone. Mira Fuentes says her daughter endured months of severe bullying while attending Thornapple Kellogg Middle School. And despite repeated reports to school officials, interventions reportedly failed to halt the harassment. Angela Regas represents Middleville in the State House. She's spoken about Natalia before and also spoke about a former classmate who took his life. It's why she introduced the Natalia Moore Act. It requires schools to accept transfers from out-of-district students who have been bullied and have not seen a change.
This bill would ensure that the child can be moved to a safer district in a safer environment.
Currently, districts are required by law to have policies on bullying, focusing on investigations and punishment. Regas feels, however, there's a gap and wants to allow students to leave toxic settings. In most cases, students must go to the schools where they live, but the bill would prevent schools from denying the transfers based on truancy. It would force districts to share academic records within 7 days, punish schools or officials who do not comply, and waive tuition fees for transfers. Fuentes says it's her hope the legislation will make sure no other family goes through what hers did. Thornapple Kellogg, for their part, says any loss involving a child is heartbreaking, adding their thoughts remain with the family and all those impacted. The district contends they take student safety seriously and remains committed to continuously reviewing their practices to best support students and families. Natalia was fondly remembered by the hockey community, with tributes from the Grand Rapids Griffins and NHL fans. If you are having thoughts of suicide, remember you are not alone and there is help. Call or text 988, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. In Lansing, I'm Remington Hernandez, reporting.
All right, and of course, on a much lighter note, stay right here. We'll take a look at that weather forecast coming up after the break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
I'm Dee Gatton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update.
Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals.
The Trump administration confirming it will conduct a federal review after another ICE-related shooting incident in Minneapolis. Meantime, border czar Tom Homan headed to the Twin Cities as the Homeland Security Department tries to regain control of both the city and the narrative. And the new proposed Canada-China free trade deal is now off the table. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney reverses course to avoid new tariffs by the Trump administration. Carney says he will abide by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement that precludes pursuing new free trade deals without prior notification. Next, more than 3 years later, the final hostage abducted by Hamas is finally back in Israel to be laid to rest. The Israel Defense Forces announcing that the remains of Ran Gavili, an Israeli police officer, were retrieved by Israelis, bringing an end to the hostage nightmare. With all 251 hostages accounted for either dead or alive, phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire deal is now ready to begin. And that's your news update.
The National News Desk can be seen on ABC 29 and 8 on Saturday night and 11:30 and Sundays at midnight. Well, welcome back to Up North Live's Unscripted. Some areas seeing a little bit of blue skies today, but temperatures still in those single digits for most areas. Here's a look at that weather with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix.
Yeah, that's right, Melissa. Another cold day. Well, we had a cold weekend as well. A couple things to note. It stays chilly this week. Maybe a week from now, a little bit of a climb in temperature. And then we also have a little bit of snow on the way in later tonight through Tuesday into Wednesday. There's a look right now in Traverse City outside of our studios, just west of Traverse City. 9 degrees. It feels like 2 below zero currently with a southwest wind in place. Good visibility, though. No real snow currently across northern Michigan. Here's a look at our weather headlines. Traverse City is under a winter weather advisory. That's for the snow coming in later tonight, and then we'll have some lake effect snow tomorrow, even into Wednesday. So this is actually in effect late tonight through tomorrow at 7 p.m. from Charlevoix and Otsego counties southward along the lakeshore into Newaygo and Oceana counties. Winter weather advisory. It's cold. Temperatures right now as of, what are we? Almost to 7 o'clock here. Single digits and teens. Wind chill readings, what it feels like. Cold. Cadillac 11 below. Gaylord right now, wind chill of 12. Below zero, so we're still seeing some -0 or below zero wind chills out there. As far as snow, here's our little clipper right here. This will drop in on the northeast side of Lake Superior. Ahead of that, we're dragging in a little bit of snow. We had some lake effect snow earlier, but that's pretty much over with now. Upstream, there's this little round of snow. That's the leading edge of some snow that's going to arrive here again, mainly after midnight tonight. So there it is. There's around 8, 9 o'clock, still dry. And then here comes our clipper. After midnight, a round of snow. That'll come to an end. And then we have some lake effect snow at times Tuesday and Wednesday, which is usually the case around here. Off Lake Superior, downwind of Lake Michigan. Both upper and lower Michigan seeing some of the lake effect snow through tomorrow night. And then essentially the same thing on Wednesday. Some lake effect snow showers Wednesday during the day. Overnight tonight, by the time the sun comes up tomorrow morning, 1 to 3 inches of snow expected, maybe a little less to the east of I-75. That's tonight. There's tomorrow. And then the snow will start to add up again in the snow belts. We've certainly seen more than this over the winter, but another 3 to 5 inches possible for a good portion of northern Michigan for the snow belt areas, also parts of the eastern UP, and particularly there north of Newberry. All right, travel conditions. Caution tomorrow, same thing Wednesday, and then things look okay on Thursday. Just a couple snow showers then. And the temperature trend, here's a look at that. Single digits and teens, the cold days will be Thursday, Friday, and then a little bit of a warm up next week. It's not a lot, but we may get back into the mid-20s at least, so maybe it'll feel a little warmer. Tonight, single digits, light snow after midnight. Again, 1 to 3 inches expected, maybe a little less in some spots Then tomorrow, scattered lake effect snow. Daytime highs in the teens tomorrow. 10 for Gaylord, 15 for Rogers City. Kalkaska, low teens tomorrow, high of 12. The forecast there, scattered lake effect snow. And our last stop, snow showers, the cold area. Cadillac tomorrow at 9, 13 at Big Rapids, scattered lake effect snow. All right, the extended forecast, lake effect snow Tuesday, Wednesday, cold Thursday, maybe some sunshine Saturday. It's looking that way, and a week from now, it's Groundhog Day. Temperatures then will be in the 20s.
All right, thanks, Joe. Coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe. He's out and about covering some high school basketball games, but he'll join us with a preview coming up after this. Welcome back to Unscripted here on Up North Live. Sports director Harrison Beebe is covering high school basketball tonight. He joins us now live from St. Francis High School. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Melissa. Yeah, I'm actually in the parking lot because, as we know in the past, we've tried to do these interviews in the gyms, and all the noise going on in the gyms can kind of interfere with our microphones and our system. So I'm shivering cold in the parking lot, waiting to get in there, but tip off in just a few minutes between St. Francis and Glen Lake should be a good one. Glen Lake leading the Northwest Conference. St. Francis is an independent school, so this isn't a conference game. But they're two pretty big rivals. Glen Lake and St. Francis, probably my favorite rivals outside of TC Central and TC West up here. So it's always fun to see them match up. That's the case tonight. And then after this, I'm going to run up to Sutton's Bay, the Norsemen hosting Benzie Central, which is the other top team in the Northwest Conference. Benzie and Glen Lake played a week ago, and it was Glen Lake winning that one. They're going to rematch again, I believe, in a few weeks here. But Glen Lake leading the way, Benzie right behind them, but catching some Northwest Conference teams and a couple what we hope are pretty intriguing matchups here for a Monday. It's going to be a very busy week of high school basketball. So I'm looking forward to a lot of great matchups I'm going to be heading to throughout the week, and keep you guys updated throughout the week with the highlights as well. But Melissa, I want to talk Super Bowl 60.
Okay.
Can you name the Super Bowl 60 teams?
Can I give you one of them?
Sure, I'll take partial credit.
Patriots?
The Patriots are in. They are without Tom Brady, though. So we've got without Tom Brady.
Without Tom Brady, right.
The Patriots are notorious for having Tom Brady in there. This is Drake May leading the way in his second year with the Patriots. I actually saw Drake get drafted in the NFL draft in Detroit 2 years ago. Saw his post-game interview. So pretty full circle moment for me to see how successful he was. Patriots, Seahawks, these teams were factored in the preseason, 19th and 21st in odds to make the Super Bowl out of all 32 NFL teams. So pretty remarkable stretch from August to now to see where these teams are.
Good stuff. Harrison, drive safe out there. We appreciate you. He's all over the place for sure. We will take a look at those live results coming up for the question of the day right after this.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
All right, we are taking a look at our question of the day. You can see right there, 8% saying yes regarding our question, 92% no. Here's some of the responses we have on Facebook. Lisa says no, their employers have to give it to them, and they shouldn't be counted against them. Charlie saying yes, as to meet their commitment to the military. Guardsmen and reserves have been doing this for decades. Kim says no, they're on vacation, they're in training. And Larry says they are allowed time off, but it's not paid time off. Using vacation time makes it paid time off. You can still comment and go to our Facebook page, Up North Live, or our website, UpNorthLive.com. Leave those comments. And thank you for tuning in for Unscripted tonight. Be safe out there. We hope to see you back here for Up North Live News at 11. Until then, have a fabulous night.